Sister Angela Mary from Australia visits the Kaohsiung Jing Hall to share her life story and meet with Master Cheng Yen. We see how the Chiangmai Tzu Chi School is helping monks prepare for Buddhist Lent in Thailand. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Marilee Shioda. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program with reports from the Philippines in regards to Tzu Chi's disaster relief efforts in Ormoc. After a 6.5 magnitude earthquake rocked the area, Tzu Chi volunteers investigated the situation to see what could be done to provide emergency relief. Many who have benefited from Tzu Chi's aid during Typhoon Haiyan have joined the ranks of volunteers. Furthermore, 3 volunteers from Taiwan also provided comfort, dividing up the duties to quickly respond to this crisis within one day. A strong quake in central Philippines has destroyed this home of 20 years. It's now surrounded by caution tape and deemed dangerous.
Seeing my home like this, I cried. Everything in my name was destroyed. It fell down the cliff.
In Ormoc, this home made from bricks is the home of many. Antonieta Antanasio's grandson is in the hospital being treated for pneumonia and was already worried about paying medical bills. She hasn't even begun thinking about rebuilding her home.
My son is devastated seeing the home he worked so hard to build fall apart. We really don't have the ability to rebuild.
A volunteer's disaster survey plan is always changing.
We were heading to Kabintan, but since it is raining heavily and there is a possibility of mudslides, we are heading back.
The bouts of heavy rain is even more of a problem for those residents staying in tents.
There are still fears lingering in our hearts.
What these residents need most is relief supplies, as volunteers decided to distribute a stock of 272 blankets and 2,279 bags of rice from Taiwan from the Ormoc DaAi Village's warehouse. With respect, 8 items are presented.
We were high-end victims before, and Tzu Chi has helped us, so now we are repaying that assistance.
Last year in the Thailand earthquake, Tzu Chi volunteers were also first on the scene to provide comfort. I think it's very important to ease the residents' fear in times like this.
I'd like to thank Tzu Chi for always being here in Ormoc in times of calamity. No? You are always one of the first responders to help us during Yolanda and then now.
Praying together for a world free from disaster, volunteers continue to be by the victims' side. Continuing with post-disaster relief efforts, but in China, a strong storm in late June caused much damage and floods in Changsha County, Hunan. Many residents in Liangli town were also forced to take shelter. Now that the weather has cleared and the floods receded, people are returning home to clean up. Tzu Chi volunteers are helping to clean up the Jingsi folding beds at Longhua Elementary School, as well as helping to clean up a local kindergarten.
The floods were knee-deep and left behind much mud, so Tzu Chi volunteers came to clean up the Nobel Kindergarten.
The kindergarten has been lending us their place for our parent-children class for 3 years.
The grapes grown in the kindergarten farm suffered damage, so the volunteers went to clear up the grapevines. The strong storm caused a lot of flooding in Langding town, Changsha. After the floods have receded, many people have returned home. The Jinsi folding beds are no longer needed, so the volunteers are cleaning the beds.
We delivered 441 Jingsi folding beds to the shelter at Longhua Elementary School. So after the residents have gone home, the volunteers are cleaning up the beds.
The beds were designed in a way that some people wish to use them at home.
Some residents are physically disabled, so they hope to bring one home because their homes have been flooded and they need a bed. Thus, the teachers agreed to their request. Our portable beds are very useful.
The volunteers are washing them and sanitizing them, so the Jinsi folding beds can be used again for those who need it.
In Taiwan, TIMA holds free clinics regularly in Shanzhi and Shimen districts of New Taipei City. At the most recent free clinic, about 140 medical volunteers served 68 residents. In addition, the medical volunteers conducted house calls for seniors unable to make it to the free clinic points, providing them with much-needed love and care.
Driving on the winding roads, TIMA members have come to 86-year-old He Chen Laiyu's house in Shimen district. They are here to provide care for her. The volunteers praise the grandma for her good singing and memory. Then she naughtily tickles the volunteer.
We've gained joy. As we go out to serve, we improve our body immunity. This is the key to good health.
The TIMA members also divide into teams to conduct house calls. Grandma Zhu Xunian, who lives in the red brick house, is happy to see so many people visit her. The doctor bends down to ask the grandma about her health conditions.
The
96-year-old grandmother also invites everyone to see her vegetable garden and pick some vegetables for the volunteers.
I've been thinking about what to do when I am 80 or 90 years old, so I must exercise regularly. This is what I learned.
The grandma also invites everyone to go hiking with her. After taking a walk, the grandma is still quite spirited, while other people are panting. Finally, the volunteers part with her, filled with the joy of serving.
Tzu Chi, though a Buddhist organization, has made friends with people of all religious backgrounds, such as Sister Angela Mary Doyle, the former superintendent of Mater Hospital in Queensland, Australia. She has long worked with Tzu Chi to promote health care for all, and recently made a special trip to Kaohsiung, Taiwan. She's in Taiwan to receive an award for her outstanding services, as well as taking the opportunity to visit Master Cheng Yen, who happens to be in southern Taiwan at the time. Welcoming Sister Angela Mary Doyle, everyone is happy to see her. The choir also invited her on stage to dance with them. Sister Angela Mary is very happy to listen to the choir, but song and dance isn't the only gift Tzu Chi has for her.
Thank you all very much. I've never celebrated a birthday like this before.
Tzu Chi volunteers are holding an early celebration for Sister Angela Mary's 92nd birthday next month, as she's here in Taiwan to receive Friends of Foreign Services medal from the government.
2 years ago, she was in a dark place because of her sister's death. The government giving her this award gives her the strength to walk into the light. It's recognition of her services and gives her confidence to enter the community once more.
Sister Angela Mary has been friends with Tzu Chi for 27 years. This visit to Taiwan, she also visited Master Cheng Yen. Shaking hands with Sister Angela Mary, Master Cheng Yen is happy to see how healthy her old friend is. Sister Angela Mary especially practiced her Mandarin for this occasion.
祝福您法体安康，带领着机缘，继续往前走。
The two noble women's ideals are similar to one another, as Sister Angela Mary has assisted the volunteers in Australia whenever it is needed.
他们很有福，澳洲有修女，像妈妈一样的疼惜他们，我也很安心。
Sister Angela Mary looks after the volunteers just like her own children, as the volunteers' spirit of giving sends out hope in the world just like children do. The children's drumming performance is just as good as the adults.
咱自济幼教啦的教育，真的真正是真优吼，真好的教育。
Tzu Chi's humanitarian education begins at a young age, as Tzu Chi hopes to nurture more Bodhi seeds to bring more good into this world. Now, there are a lot of special education courses which try to help children with autism. Unfortunately, many are limited by funding and resources and are mostly confined to the classroom. Today, we meet a teacher who specializes in children with attention deficit disorder and hyperactivity. Mr. Chu is committed to teaching these children by taking them outdoors for a different journey each day, as he hopes to help them express their emotions and become more tolerant to improve their life quality.
Early in the morning on this weekend in May, we meet a special group of children who are all preparing for class. This class is actually an outing to Battleship Rock on the National Yangming University campus. It's not a difficult trip up in the mountains, as the total hike is about 2.5 hours round trip.
Go.
The day before, there was a heavy rain and the sun hid behind the clouds. This made the steps wet and slippery. Tu Zhi Kwang, however, is bald-headed, and is much like a little son as he encourages everyone to keep going. Taking a walk and chatting with these children, Mr. Chu says that they have special needs and are prone to autism. But up here in the mountains, as long as they get some exercise and become a little fatigued and become more accustomed to nature, they are all well behaved.
When we start class, a lot of students are truant. I told the teacher that many students skipped a lot of classes and weren't kicked out of school or even punished.
The teacher doesn't have to expel students from school. He can just deduct points.
This individual who speaks non-stop is Chen Hao. Because many of his classmates were late, the teacher didn't punish them, simply expelling them, which affected his mood as he is protesting. Tu Zhi Kwang has slowly been chatting with him, helping relieve his stress and allowing him the opportunity to express his true feelings.
Of course, you may feel wronged as you are very punctual and the teacher did not notice. So yes, you are right.
In fact, these students all have complex emotions which need to be dealt with. This teacher began as a traditional teacher specializing in special education. He also became involved in counseling, but after graduation, he wanted something different and began his own special education platform, recording thousands of videos for those aged 6 to 16 to study math. Now he is involved in special education as he believes that each child should be taught differently. He's convinced that there is room for improvement.
I would like to say that understanding their state is something that we should understand and try to separate that from ourselves. The nature of things is that we can be open to discussion.
Taking these children out of the classroom isn't an easy thing. But Tu Zhi Kwang says that he was a hyperactive child who paid little attention and performed poorly in class. He knew that going outdoors and taking a walk and looking at the world could bring a lot of change.
I took the children cycling around the island, and we also traveled from Liaoning province to Hainan, spending 4 months. I tried to take them out and allow them to experience a lot of things associated with real life.
Although these special needs students have all different types of education, there are a lot of resources available to them, with most of them being free. However, most of this learning is still in the classroom, with many people trying many different ways to help these kids. Tu Zhi Kwang is trying to find a way to stimulate parents to participate in this education.
We talk about using time rather than space, waiting for a child to change. I think this process is very important. Inside the system, it may be very difficult to have the opportunity to express yourself.
Many students can't learn in the current system, so we need to give these students a new option.
Although there are funding limits and these students have special needs, lessons are specially tailored to them. Working outside the system in such pilot programs are still limited in scope and may not comprehensively meet all expectations, though it is a good reference potentially guiding many different children to find their own path.
In celebration of Eid al-Fitr, Tzu Chi volunteers in Singapore organized a special event for their Muslim care recipients at the Jing Hall. They also used this occasion to distribute aid supplies for them. As local volunteers are not familiar with Muslim traditions, they invited a Muslim care recipient to help liven up the atmosphere. Let's join them there.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Singapore host their first aid distribution for Eid al-Fitr. Though they are not familiar with the Muslim traditions, thanks to the assistance of a Tzu Chi care recipient, volunteers are able to make the event full of festive atmosphere. Mohammed is singing Eid songs to liven up the atmosphere. He also brings some gift and give them to the Muslims who join him on the stage.
I want them to feel special on Hari Raya, and they will feel excited. Means they are not going to bring back in empty-handed.
What is your reason to make you willing to help?
Yeah, because of the medication, alright, who actually searching who helped me a lot. Thank you so much.
Many care recipients who participate in this event also donate their few coin banks. This is the second coin bank that this kidney patient has donated.
When I look at the video, I find out Tzu Chi is helping all over the world. I like Tzu Chi. This is an opportunity for me to help them back because there is so many others outside that are needed. That's why I do that.
The program is very good, very nice, and the first song is very touching to me.
Regardless of different religion and race, these 151 care recipients and their family get together to celebrate a different Eid al-Fitr with the company and love of volunteers.
In Thailand, Buddhist monks receive alms in preparation for a 3-month period known as Buddhist Lent. Therefore, Chiangmai Tzu Chi School has offered food to Buddhist monks piously to pray for good harvest on its farm. For the college student interns from Taiwan, the occasion was a precious cultural lesson.
The students have come with food to offer to the Buddhist monks for Buddhist Lent. The teachers lead everyone to chant the Buddhist Sutra with clasped hands piously.
Chiangmai Tzu Chi School emphasizes humanity and etiquette. The students are very polite and well-disciplined. They deserve everyone's praise. Regarding the food offered by these kind-hearted people, we will give most of them to Community Children's Center and the indigenous tribes on the mountains.
For students from Tzu Chi University who have come to intern, this is a special cultural experience for them.
In Taiwan, after worshiping, we bring the food back. Here we offer food. It's quite different.
People are very pious in their faith here. People look at this occasion very respectfully.
As people in Thailand practice the Buddhist tradition, the interns from Taiwan have gained a precious cultural lesson.
Mennonite Christian Hospital and Thai Power have been carrying out their Seed of Hope project for 13 years. The aim is to help indigenous students find work and earn money for their education. The students can reduce the financial burden for their families while also gaining work experience. This project also encourages the students to serve the people in their hometowns.
He is Wen Kai-yu, a student in the Department of Nursing at the Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology. He now works in the nursing home. This Seeds of Hope project has been held by the Mennonite Christian Hospital and Thai Power for 12 years, and they have helped 192 students like Wen Kai-yu work in the summer vacation.
students can take the chance to have their income from their part-time work in the summer to reduce burdens for their families. This can also help them build a correct view on life.
The students have to stockpile the supplies and also push the elderly residents to do therapies. Thus, they can apply what they have learned and become more compassionate.
Some grandmas and grandpas are slow in eating meals. It can take them 1 hour to finish a meal, so we must be very patient in feeding them. We should see them as our own grandmas and grandpas.
22 students are taking part in this 7-week-long part-time work. They do work like community caring, delivering meals, or home visitations. The work brings much fulfillment to their summer and also creates hope for society.
Staying in Hualien, a young man named Hua Ziyuan relies on a respirator to live. He sells passion fruit for a living, and his spirit of not relying on handouts has moved many people. Some Tzu Chi volunteers personally went to his home to buy passion fruit jams. In addition, a former inmate has also raised money to buy 16 cans of passion fruit jams from him. All of these jams will be delivered to Zenlai Orphanage in Hualien. Seeing that so many people have lent their help to the needy, now Hua wants to repay this love to society.
Tzu Chi volunteers come to Hua Ziyuan's home to deliver love for many kind-hearted people and will then pass this love to Zenlai's orphanage. Mr. Hua also joins the volunteers to do good deeds.
I want to pass on everyone's love and care. I have prepared 4 more cans for them. This way I can send my love to them.
Hua's mother is always by his side to pack the passion fruit. Everyone's care moves her to tears.
It's fine since we can still get by. A person's outlook is very important. We shouldn't be greedy.
Everyone works together to pack the passion fruits and the jam, and then they will deliver them to the Zenlai's orphanage. This former inmate, Mr. Zhang, not only donates his love, but he also passionately participates in this act.
Although I didn't spend a lot of money, I cannot use money to buy the happiness of helping others.
By delivering this love, these children will realize that they are not alone. Mr. Hua is not alone, and this former inmate is also not alone either.
The Taiwan Fund for Children and Family in Thailand has asked college-age volunteers to help at a summer camp for children from disadvantaged families. Camp activities included survival skills for the wilds and other challenges. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.